I'm Morgan, a wedding photographer helping engaged couples create the perfect rundown for their wedding day. After photographing weddings for 5 years, I'm sharing all of my best tips, tricks, and experiences that I share with all of our couples. I'm going to give you my honest take on flowers first, and then I'll include more options as we go. So, honest take. Real flowers will always look the best. They'll photograph the best, they're more elegant, and they can really level up your photos, your ceremony, and reception decor. Now, I know real flowers are not cheap, but if aesthetic, style, and your photos are really important to you, I promise they're worth it. Unless you have a talented florist friend or family member, hiring a florist is always going to be your best route here too. I promise you, you don't want to be stressing out about putting bouquets together yourself the day before your wedding. The florist will be able to set up beautiful displays of flowers for your ceremony and reception too, and then nothing you have to worry about on your wedding day. And if real flowers and a florist aren't within the budget, one economical option to still have the real flowers is to explore a farmer's market. If it's summer, farmers markets are usually overflowing with bouquets of flowers. Back when I first got married, we found a farmer at the market with beautiful flowers. Rather than taking our chances and just showing up the morning of the wedding to buy flowers, that would be really stressful. We actually went to his farm 2 days before the wedding and bought buckets and buckets of flowers. Now, I had some trusty aunts and friends help put them together, but you could also hire a florist to do that part of it too. And at the very least, if you have to choose, I would invest in the bouquets first, the one that you're holding and the ones that your bridesmaids will be holding, because they'll be photographed and on display the most, and you can also repurpose them at your reception later. Now, when you're choosing your flowers, you'll want to consider a few things. First, what's in season? You'll probably have more options if you pick blooms that are in season. Then think about colors. Obviously, the options are endless here. We have been seeing a lot of all white bouquets last year, especially against a black or dark colored bridesmaid dress. Now, for me personally, I will always be a fan of color, or at least incorporating some color. And I think it really makes your bouquet and individual blooms pop a little bit more. Color in bouquets photograph so beautifully. Now, you'll want to consider your color scheme and your bridesmaids' dresses, so make sure you pick colors that complement them, but don't completely blend in. And of course, ask your florist for the best recommendations because they will have them all. Now, don't forget about the boutonnieres too. Your florist can make beautiful boutonnieres that complement the bouquets. Some other special individual pieces our couples often include are boutonnieres and corsages for parents and grandparents too. Now, the possibility with flowers on your wedding day are endless. So I want to give you a few more things to consider when it comes to flowers and your decor. One great place to incorporate flowers is in your ceremony decor. Ceremony arches with floral arrangements are gorgeous. Flowers could also serve as a low ground level backdrop to your altar, and they could also line the aisles in vases or tied to chairs. Now, at the reception, of course, floral arrangements make for beautiful centerpieces. Consider varying the centerpieces so they're not all exactly the same. I love the look of sprinkling a few tall vases with flowers throughout the room. You could also put flower arrangements on your head table and on any accent tables. Think your cake table, or even on your cake, a gift table, memorial table, and so on. And finally, consider some unique areas for flower arrangements that you might not normally consider. I'm especially thinking of your photos here. Is there a unique spot on your venue that would be a great spot for photos where you could also spruce it up and make it more personal by adding flower arrangements to it? I have a great example of this. So one of the venues we photographed this year had a beautiful wooden swing hanging from some trees. Now, a swing is fun and beautiful by itself, but I also saw some photos from that same venue from a styled shoot where it's kind of a fake wedding setup, but a styled shoot where they added some beautiful floral arrangements to that swing. That could make for some dreamy portraits on your wedding day. So don't be afraid to think outside the box if you have it in your budget to add some flowers to some unique places in your venue. Now, to wrap things up with florals, I just have a few extra things for you to consider. First, are you moving flowers at all during the day? If you are, it's a good way to save some money on them. We've seen couples move arrangements from the ceremony to the reception. And when I say couples, the couple is not actually moving the flowers on their wedding day, but just make sure you delegate this task because it should not ever be up to you or your fiance to move these on your wedding day. You have plenty of other things to do. Next, get your bouquets delivered to your getting ready room if possible. Your photographer will definitely want to photograph them, and the easiest time for detail photos is when you're getting ready. Third, going off of that, ask your florist for some extra blooms. And I mean loose blooms here. I cannot stress how much this adds to your details photos. I use extra blooms with invitation flat lays to arrange by your rings and other details. It really brings all of the other elements of your wedding together. And doing this is really not possible without the extra blooms. We're not going to be taking any blooms from your bouquet, so your florist might charge a small fee for including some extra blooms, but it's worth it. And a few other places to consider using flowers could be in your hairpiece, a hairpiece or crown for your flower girl, extra petals for your flower girl's basket, arches, doorways. Really, the possibilities are endless. And finally, if real flowers aren't your preference, that is okay too. This wedding day is all about you and your fiance. Wood flowers are a pretty and fun alternative. We've had a lot of people do wood flowers, and I think they look pretty cool. You can order them online in different colors. We've even had one of our brides buy her own plain wood flowers and then stain them herself. Now that's quite a big project, but they turned out really great. And the nice thing is they last forever, so you can keep them forever if you want to. Synthetic flowers are also an option too. If you want to pull off a little nicer look with these flowers, just make sure you search for some that look a little bit more realistic. And sometimes they fool me, so you can always go outside of the real flowers if that's really not your thing or not within your budget. Stop stressing about your wedding budget. We've made budgeting for your wedding super easy for you by creating a detailed budget tracker in Google Sheets. Set your budget in every category, access it anywhere, share it with your fiance, and add expenses on the spot so you never miss a thing. Click Get My Free Wedding Budget Tracker in the description below to grab your free copy.